Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna look at the next data analytics problem. So this is data analysis number 4, and so let's check this one out. So again, I am doing this cold, and so oops, what's going on here? I'm gonna go into data analysis 4. So there's only two problems on this. Okay, so let's look at this first one. So stock transactions and dividends. Complete this activity will help you learn to calculate dividends per share based on number of shares of stock outstanding, extract information from a data set using Excel formulas, functions, and or pivot tables. Okay. Companies determine their dividend per share amounts for preferred stock and for common stock. The data worksheet contains a list of companies and their regions with information related to the shares of stock and dividend payments in a year. Okay, so we can look at this. This is the raw data. The common shares beginning balance, preferred shares beginning balance columns indicate the number of shares issued and outstanding. Okay, let's just look at this sheet. So good. We can look at the number of different types of shares. So here we have the beginning balance of common shares, beginning balance of preferred shares, additional common shares issued, additional um, preferred shares issued, treasury shares purchased, and treasury shares sold. Okay, cool. So that's our sheet. Okay. Question one, cell K to enter a formula that results in the number of outstanding shares of preferred stock using the data in row 2. So the number of shares of preferred stock. Okay. So preferred stock outstanding is going to be equal to, we can see what we have. We have preferred stock plus additional preferred stock. Let's see if that's what they're looking for. Um, Okay, that's all that we're looking for. So that's all we did. Okay, so L2, any of the formula results in the number of outstanding shares of common stock. So we're going to do the same thing. So common stock is going to equal our beginning balance of common stock plus additional common stock issued. A lot more common stock than preferred stock, huh? Okay. Oops. What happened there? No, all treasury stock is common stock. Oh, okay. There you go. So let's see. We're going to have to add in. Let's see. This plus this minus this. Let's see if that's what we're doing here. There you go. So yeah, so there we were doing all of our common stock. So if you didn't see what I did, so I took the initial common stock, right? Common shares beginning balance plus the common shares additional issued, right? But the treasury is this is actually the stock that our company bought and sold of our own stock. And so we sold these. So, I added those in as if we were issuing them. And then I subtracted the ones that we purchased. So we sent these out, we brought these in. And so that's the formula I used. Okay, cool. Now let's go. P2, enter a formula results in the total amount of dividend paid to preferred stockholders using the data. To, okay, total amount of dividend paid to preferred stockholders. Okay, what's this? Dividends declared, dividends per share, common stock dividend. Okay, so preferred stock. Wow. Okay, so we have preferred stock dividend per share. So, okay, so we can just say this is equal to the amount per share times the number of shares. All right, let's see if that's what they're looking for. Cool. Okay, Q2, enter a formula that results in the total amount of dividend paid to common stockholders. Okay, so dividends for common stockholders. Okay, so we can say that's equal to dividends for common stockholders times common shares outstanding. Let's see if that's what they're looking for. Look at that. Okay, so copy these all the way down. So we do our normal thing, right? We go and I double click in the corner. Oops, what did we do here? Why didn't that work? Oh, huh, because I didn't do these first. So I got a bunch of zeros. Okay. Yeah. So now these populate down. Okay. Good. So question one, what is the total number of Treasury common shares owned by Carly Place, Kings Point, and North Point corporations combined? Whew, we get to do a pivot table here. Okay. So let's create our pivot table. So when we create our pivot table, we've done this over and over again, right? Let's see. Insert pivot table. I want my table range. Oh, look, it pre-selected it, and I want it in a new worksheet. So that's really nice. Hopefully, I should have confirmed that it selected the right cells, but I'm going to trust that it did. Okay, so owned by, so I have three companies: Carly Place, Kings Point, North Point. So my output is going to be total number of Treasury common shares. Oh, okay, and I am going to sort by. I need to look at my. Wow, I need to look at my things here by company. I'm sorting by company. Okay, now looking confused. So this says sum of common shares. And I don't know for sure if that's the same as total number of treasury common shares owned. So I'm not quite sure about that one. So we might have to see where we're at. Let's filter this anyhow. We can filter and I'll filter by my three I have Carly Place, Kings Point, Northport. Carly Place, Kings Point. Oh, that's Northport. Okay. So sum of common shares outstanding. Let's see if that's what they're looking for. That's not what they're looking for. Okay. There's a total number of treasury common shares owned by those three combined. Treasury common shares. Ah, it's just so interesting. Okay. So because we have the treasury shares purchased, right? And then there's the treasury shares sold. It's not going to be its preferred shares, so I can get those off. I wonder if this is it. Common share. No, shares outstanding. That's okay. So it's not going to be the additional. It's purchased. Oh, this is interesting. So I think was maybe this is what they're looking for. There we go. Okay, yeah, that's weirdly worded. Was the total number of Treasury common shares owned? So they're looking for the it's a have this Treasury common shares purchased minus the Treasury shares sold. What I don't like about that question is that it's assuming that you didn't have any Treasury shares on hand at the beginning of the period, right? So it's assuming it was zero at the beginning of the period, and you purchased these and sold those, and so, but that's a strong assumption that you didn't have any at the beginning of the period. Okay. Anyhow, so what we ended up doing there is we took the treasury shares purchased and subtracted the treasury shares sold for each of those companies. Okay. Next one was the highest average common dividend per share amount when sorted by region. Okay, so we're going to sort by region. We want the highest average common dividend per share. Okay, let's change this out. So we want the common dividend, and we want to sort it by region, and we don't want the sum. We want the average. So value field settings is the average. Okay, and so there we go. So when sorted by region, the highest average common dividend per share amount sorted by region. So for me, that would be the highest would be this right there. Let's see if that's what they're looking for. It is. Okay. Q3, how much greater is the total common stock dividend than the total preferred stock dividend for those companies? Okay. Okay. So we're going to sort this by company, and we want the total common stock dividend. Let's change this to sum again, and the total preferred stock dividend. Okay. Oops. That's there we go. Total common stock, total preferred stock dividend. And we need to sort by company, and we're sorting by or filtering by company. CentralReach, Riverhead, want this. I'm going to be flipping back and forth. Center, CentralReach. Okay. Riverhead. Okay. And Wantog. So I filter by those, and I am looking for how much greater is the total common stock dividend than the total preferred stock dividend. So here's my total common stock dividend. Here's my preferred stock. So I can just, if this is right, just subtract that. Then there you go. Okay. Uh, Q4, what is the percentage of preferred shares issued to common shares issued in the Northwest region? Was a percentage of preferred shares issued to common shares issued. Okay. So first of all, let's get rid of this filter. And I don't need the company anyhow. I can get rid of that. I'm going to sort by region. Okay. And I'm looking for the percentage. So I'm actually looking the counts of these. So preferred shares issued to common shares issued. Okay, so we have preferred common shares issued, preferred shares issued by that's by region, and I just want the Northwest region, so I can filter this. I'm gonna put this into my filters. Move that to filters anyhow, and then I can just say I'm just looking for the Northwest region. Okay. Percentage of preferred shares issued to common shares issued. Okay. Equals preferred shares to common shares. That's a little weird. Um, and then I'm looking for two decimal. Oh, and I want this as a percentage. So let's change this to a percentage. There you go. 5.04. Oh, that's not what it's looking for. Preferred percentage of preferred shares issued to common shares issued in the Northwest region. Oh, high Northeast, huh? There we go. That's the problem. Northwest. Let's filter Northwest and see if that helps. Huh. 4.48. What is the percentage of preferred shares issued to common shares issued? Preferred shares issued. Oh, I think it's going to say it's not doing additional issued. It wants the total preferred shares issued. So let's see. Oops. So let's change these. So we're going to look for, so it's looking for, I think it's looking for the total amount outstanding instead of looking to this. So let's look at this. Preferred divided by common. Okay. Fingers crossed on this one. Huh. Percentage of preferred shares issued to common shares issued in the Northwest region. Northwest or Northwest preferred shares. Wow, this is a weird one. I'm gonna look and see if there's something else in the data that makes more sense. Additional issued. And this is something I don't know why you would look at it in this way anyhow. I would usually think of like the preferred shares as a percentage of the total instead of the common shares issued to common shares issued. I'm wondering if they're taking, let's see, they're not including the treasury in this case. And wow, that was confusing. Okay, so so what's going on with this one? In case you didn't notice what I did, So it's really subtle wording. So it's saying what is the percentage of preferred shares issued to common shares issued. But when we did our initial calculation here for the when we did our calculation over here in column L, right? We didn't just do the initial common shares and the newly issued common shares. We also had the treasury shares in the calculation. And so for this problem, they are wanting us to not include any changes in the treasury shares. And so we're just doing the common shares. So the common shares beginning and the additional common shares and the preferred shares beginning and the additional preferred shares. And so we're doing the preferred shares that are issued, the beginning plus the newly issued, divided by the common shares beginning and newly issued. So that is very confusing why they're wording it that way. Okay. Anyhow, I hope that this helps. This video was helpful. I'll create another one for the next problem. Have a good day.